All right, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to the second. I don't even know what to call it, annual or second on time patch notes show with the Amateur Dota 2 League. We're going to be talking about 6.81 tonight. Just released today, actually, to the main client. And joining me is going to be Moon, who's always along for the ride as the co-caster, and we're graced tonight by Frog of Tempest Gaming or Icy Dawn guys, as we saw last week. We'll have to figure out what the deal is there. So, welcome, guys. How's it going?
Greetings. It's
That's Moon,
going
and
pretty good.
we found a frog too. Is there a wild frog somewhere around? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
here.
he's there. Perfect. Cool.
Hiding in the
Welcome, Frog.
trees.
So,
Stay in the trees.
anyways, as you guys know, if you guys are in Twitch right now or watching this on YouTube after the fact, basically this week's sort of the off week for the Invitational. So there's no games this week. We're gonna have one play-in game on Sunday. To sort of determine that. Brackets are actually out. If you go to amateur2league.com, you can check out how that's all going to work. But luckily, that means I have plenty of free time, so we can chat about some of this stuff. And in contrast to the normal stuff we do, this is actually live on Twitch. So if you guys have questions, feel free to toss them my way, and I will get it 2 minutes faster than normal, which is awesome. Cool. And so for Moon and Frog, make sure you guys have the little patch note website up, and I will get that up myself. Oh man, I gotta update this. Havoc and Moon and
Which one are we using? I'm on the wiki teamliquid.net.
Oh, you're
Should
on
we
that
be
one.
using the?
It's probably in the same
We can use
order.
whichever one you want.
I'm rocking the Dota 2
Maybe,
one, so
maybe not.
I'll be going down that.
Okay,
And
I'll go find it.
basically, I want to keep it hopefully shorter than the 2.5 hour Dota Cinema epic review of this, but I want to go through and talk about some of the minor or major changes that you think might affect the game, especially as pertains to both the amateur scene and the pub scene even, because a lot of people like us, the majority of games we play are pubs and not against Navi. So we'll have to check that out, and hopefully just let me know as you guys find things interesting. I know that 680, a lot of people said, was one of the most balanced games and the richest metas, and I know Moon and I sort of skew on the side of the competitive scene was very much got into sort of a rut where people were picking from the same hero pool over and over. Frog, what was that your guys' experience too, or what did you think of 680? Are you happy to see some of these changes? Sad?
The old patch, yeah, it was an amazing patch. It was like the most balanced patch since the history of Dota. Like the pro team's been over 90 hero picked compared to the previous patch where they had like I think 40 or 50 hero picked
Hmm.
total. So that's like it actually doubled. And I think if you compare it to League of Legends, it's like double League of Legends too. It's like this patch was really like the most balanced thing, made like drafting like so much harder, like so much strategy, like new strategy. Everything was really crazy in this patch, and a lot of pro teams, amateur teams, pubs have like a hard time like adjusting, seeing what is like the strongest strategy. But even now, like we aren't even sure what is the strongest strategy.
Interesting. So,
Like we see like and I guess like everyone struggle with pushing because it's like it's so fast. You need to like really execute perfectly against it, and even executing a good push. So I think that's like what's fun right now, just pushing strat. But yeah,
cool. Well, let's jump into that. Spring cleaning update. As you guys know, there's all these great little changes in here. Not too much going on, actually. One of the things I saw on Reddit today, in foreign languages, or non-English languages, I should say, they now list the name of the English skill. So, I don't know, maybe when you're screaming like stun now, they'll figure it out. Or maybe it's an educational thing for learning English. Yeah, there's not too much here. You can alt click some stuff, other features, blah, 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 blah. Let's get down. Bug fixes, there are actually some interesting ones. If you just go into some of these, like, I don't know, there's ridiculous stuff that happens, like damage wasn't being applied from skill A or B. Like Timbersaw's Chakram slowing enemies 5% less than it should. I guess there might be
Yeah,
some
there's a lot.
changes in
The
there,
one
but
I notice is Bristleback is now his passive goes through Hex, which it was always supposed to, but
yeah.
occasionally Hex would disable Bristleback ability.
So
And now that no longer happens, so enjoy.
You could see
That'll make it
some,
even more fun to play against him.
yeah, you could see some minor changes there, but we'll assume that all those are sort of standard and stuff was actually going on, and get down to the gameplay update 681. So I'll run through the general stuff quick. I don't think there's anything interesting here really. Roshan base armor increased by 1. Literally no
Yeah,
damage. Literally taking no damage. Attack speed adjust, blah 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 blah. Random draft.
I think the
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think the armor on Roshan is really important. Like what people do, and like anyone who gets like a medallion can Rosh. Like I think it was like a bit too strong. Like his armor is really low at every stage of the game, and like if you reduce his armor, it's like it was really easy to get Roshan down. And I think like the 1 armor is like just something that was really needed. Like
Interesting.
it's only 1 armor, but I think it had to be done.
And
I don't think it's like something you can overlook and not really think about. It was important.
that's true. Yeah, and I guess it could affect, especially early game Roshan, where the damage you're putting out isn't necessarily as high.
Yeah.
His health is lower. So
Especially how like armor works. Like if let's say you have 5 total armor, it's like let's say like 30%, and the next 5%, the next 5 armor you put like for like any kind of shield, it's gonna go up like 10% instead of 25. So like
right.
he has it's just the way armor works.
Yeah, basically.
Like the first 10 is bigger than the next. Like let's say you have 10 armor, it's going to be more important those 10 armor than the 20 armor.
Yeah,
Like
it's diminishing
the
returns. So
amount.
if you guys are playing, you can look it up
Yeah.
on Dota Wiki. There's a nice graph that shows it, but it's basically a logarithmic
Yeah.
scale. So like the difference between 0 and 1 is much greater than 1 and 2, and so forth. So
Yeah, yeah.
okay, heroes. This is a fun one right off the bat. Agnum Scepter. Ags on Abaddon redirects 35% of all damage dealt to Abaddon. So obviously that has the dual effect of reducing a good amount of damage from heroes in a team fight, and also making borrowed time actually restore a little bit more health. And the thing I want to note here too that's really important, borrowed time, I know a lot of people just, it sort of triggers off and that happens and you're happy. You can trigger it manually too. So that can't be underestimated, the effect this could have in a team fight. Even if you go in at full health and you say, wow, my team's getting decimated, can you imagine popping that during like, I don't know, an OD ult or something like that? What do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it actually makes Aghanims a useful item on him now, because I think before it only increased the duration by about 1 second, which is nice, but for the 4,200 gold you invest, I think there's a lot more useful things that you can bring to the team fight. But that now is really great.
I still don't really like it. Like, it's a nice buff, but for me, I don't think it's a good upgrade. Like, maybe it's a good, like, 4th item. It's not really core.
Mm-hmm.
It's, like, it's okay. I wasn't really excited by it. Like, it was nice, but yeah, that's all. That's all for me.
You think not enough to make him more popular, but just sort of a nice item buff on him, I guess. Makes
Yeah,
makes you reconsider your build when you pick him, but I don't think you would pick him
Yeah.
because of that.
yeah, I don't think, like, oh, I'm gonna get Aghanims when I pick him, like, in
Yeah,
a captain
right.
mode or anything. Like, it's not gonna be part of a strategy or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like a small buff. It's okay.
All right.
So-
Ancient Apparition, one of the heroes we saw the most in 680, and especially in the Amateur 2 League, and really even in the pub games we played and drafted out, he always showed up in either picks or bans. And one of the things I'd proposed was lowering the radius that Chilling Touch applied to, and instead the change they've gone with here is the attack speed reduction was increased from 15 to 20. I don't know that that's going to be enough to change him fundamentally. I think he's still very strong at what he did before. But I don't know. Your guys' thoughts?
I think it's a good start.
How much does 5 attack speed actually feel like too? Like what is that in time?
It's 5% of your DPS.
But like, right, so how long does that take? So I attack and it takes 5 seconds, in between attacks or whatever. Like, what does that 5 attack speed change actually mean?
Well, that
I don't
depends
think-
on the hero's base attack speed. For Most heroes is
Like
about
let's
1.5.
say the average attack speed of a hero is like 1 second, it's gonna reduce by like zero point 0.5, 0.05. So
So
I don't think it's a
it's
good
percents
nerf.
basically.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a good nerf at all. Like I like your idea of the radius. Seems like more logic.
Yeah, I
Like
wish.
you need to like tell your team like get up in a like little space and like maybe it's dangerous because Magnus is gonna come and RP you because you're all stuck in the same space. Because right now the radius is really huge, and also the damage like I think I checked on wiki and it was like if you all your team at level 1 gets chilling touch and they give like 3 hit each, it's like 480 damage, like only the spell. That's not even counting the
Right.
attack of the hero itself. So like you can kill like 3 heroes with chilling touch, like just from attacking,
Yeah,
not even using spells, not even counting the damage of your hero. So that's pretty huge, and I don't think the 20 attack speed is gonna do any nerf.
yeah. Sort of my idea for him was make it so that you have to more intentionally cast Chilling Touch and sort of like gather people up. Because right now, if you
Yeah,
get initiated on, you can, imagine being in the bottom lane and your supports are on the left side of the tree bank and you're on the right side. You can cast it on everyone. You can cast it across like a tree bank, which is just sort of
yeah.
ridiculous. So,
It's really easy to cast it. Like you just throw it, and
right.
it's gonna hit like half your team, and it's really good.
I think it makes it easy to use it as a responsive spell in tri lanes, and I would like to see it
Yeah,
be more specifically geared towards aggressive tri lanes. But anyways,
I
that's
agree with your idea.
that's AA. Anti-Mage, Mana Void's AoE increased. I believe it was increased last patch too, a little bit more significantly
Yeah,
than this. But 500 now is a pretty good range. That's like a third of the screen roughly. So I don't know. I don't think it'll change him much. I still don't think we'll see much play out of him.
Yeah, not a big change there.
Counter
yeah,
Helix on Axe, pseudo random chance. We'll see that a couple times. I'll hover over the tooltip just so people remember what that
I
is.
really like that update to Axe. I think that's
yeah.
very much needed.
I agree. It's like I remember I played Axe not long ago. Like I just like ran into a Weaver and just like I think I had like every spin possible, like, and I just killed her like by accident. And I felt bad, but now I think like sometimes I never spin, sometimes I spin like way too much, and I think this is it's gonna make the hero like can like I don't like picking a hero like and you're gonna win if you get like lucky spins like now he gets like a really
Right.
more average amount of spins.
Another popular hero we've seen, Bat Rider coming out now. We should get NyQuil in on this. I'm interested. I'll actually have to ask him next time we talk to him on Gravity. But he his point was that he believes Bat Rider is the most OP hero in 680. I think he'll probably stick by it with 681. Flaming Lasso mana cost
Yeah.
increased 150 to 225. That's actually a pretty big update, and Bat Rider does struggle a bit from mana management early game. Do you think it's enough to bring him out?
No,
He's not
maybe not.
using it very often. I don't think it's going to change anything because
Yeah,
you're going to make
because
sure you have that 225 mana. It's your most important spell.
yeah, it also when he used to have mana cost on Blink, it was 75 mana. It's the same difference, so I don't think like it's gonna change anything at all.
Oh, you know what? I
Like
hadn't even thought
it's
of that. That's exactly what this change is.
yeah,
It's to
it's like
re-implement. So he might have been balanced with the mana cost on Blink, but he always uses Flaming Lasso with Blink. So this really just
yeah,
rebalances it to where it was.
yeah, but I don't think it's like I think people like we stopped seeing him because people needed like a bit of time to adapt to it, and also they were tired of seeing that every game, like first man first pick, and like I think pros like just stopped playing him because like oh he got nerfed, let's not play him for a couple of time, like let's train him in pubs to like just get used to it a bit, and they were tired to see him too, and now he's back. That's all. And this
Beastmaster,
nerf is just gonna be nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
it takes him back to sort of where he was in the balance before. And the thing I'll say in general about a lot of these, a lot of heroes are getting buffed. It's just sort of the 5 or 6. There's a few really popular heroes who got nerfs like this. They're minor nerfs too. So a lot of the people who are sort of in the middle will actually go down too, in contrast. But most heroes in the
This is
patch.
actually one of my favorite patches that I've seen so far. Just from reading through here really quick, all the changes seem really, really subtle and like very minute. And they all are things I'm pretty excited about. Just very small things that make a pretty big difference in the long run. But we're only at the Bs right now. We need to
I know
go all the way to Zeus.
we gotta get to base damage increased by 4.
Good.
He
I like it.
he used to be
Yeah,
very popular. What was that? TI2 even? Is that right?
yeah.
Even
Mostly work
TI3 I
like
think we saw a
Warcraft
few.
3. He was popular in Warcraft 3 when Dota 2 wasn't out. He was like a common mid player, common mid hero. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of people used to mid him and play him as sort of a two spot. And I think that this
yeah,
makes him very viable too. A lot of people, I've actually seen him as a carry. I don't think it works out that well, but he can pump out some damage. Base damage by 4 gives him a little bit more farm, a little bit more damage early on. So I think that's all good. I think we should see a little bit more of
yeah.
him,
Beastmaster is a good.
and
I think
especially
he's always
Beastmaster is a
been
good
strong.
pusher.
yeah, and with the
Yeah,
separation of his animals too. I just feel like people need to find a way to work him into lineups. I think he's good. I think that there's definitely potential there. The teams just have to take the initiative and do it.
yeah.
Uh,
One day you're gonna see a pro team play him, and everyone's gonna do the same.
yeah, that's sort of how it
That's
goes.
how
It's
it
just like
works.
I don't think he's bad. It's just I don't know. Another
Yeah,
hero, Bloodseeker, someone a lot of people feel is pretty good, but has not been
it
seen
is.
very much.
I think that the cast range improve was not the cast range. I mean the cast time improves was is really important. If they just would have done the cannot be dispelled anymore, it wouldn't have been enough. Because the cast point is so humongous, like it's more than half a second. Now it's less than half a second. I think it's really important.
Yeah,
Like,
and Blood Rage was
yeah,
it's a pretty drawn out animation if you look at it. It took a good amount of time to cast, so that'll be
yeah, like it
interesting
was
too.
easy to. It's like it takes less time to blink out than to silence someone. Like it was like irritating most of the time.
Yeah, that
Like
was
you see Co-op and she's always gonna blink out before you get the time to
I
silence.
was gonna say, to be honest, this might be just part of it, part of me being a bad player. But like, even when I used it on myself, it just takes so long to run in on someone, and you try and cast it on them, and it's so easy for them to just walk out of range, even. So definitely a good thing there. I think the silence is gonna be huge. I think we might see him. I really do. I think the silence. He has one of the best single target silences in the game. It's sort of a native orchid. Um,
Yeah.
so should see
Yeah, and
him.
it can be dispelled. I think that's really big. It's one of the few silences that can do that. I don't know whether or not Kraken Shell can dispel it though. It doesn't say.
Well,
We'll have to see.
I think
one hero.
how Blood Rage work, it's exactly like the I think Enfeeble from Bane. Like if you place Enfeeble on a hero, he cannot Manta out or BKB out of the
Yeah.
spell. But let's say
Right, but
you have your BKB up, you cannot click the Enfeeble on him. It's Nightmare. What's the name of the ult?
The
What's the
Fiend's
first
Grip?
thing? Oh yeah, okay. I thought I confused both words. The
Oh,
Fiend's
you're
Grip and
good.
Enfeeble.
All right, cool. So we like Bloodseeker now. Bounty Hunter track cast range increased to a constant 1200 instead of what it scaled
I
up
think
so
that's
much.
really good too.
And I miss Moon. We were just talking about it this morning in one of the chats.
Absolutely, yeah.
I love Bounty
Gondar
Hunter.
is. We haven't seen much of him.
I love playing him off. I think we've seen him in one of the invitational matches this season, one or two. But I think he's too much fun too. He's sort of like a different version of Nyx, where you just roam around and you can find people very early. He also contributes tangibly to team fights, even a little bit more, I would argue, by being able to give vision from a distance, and that's sort of what this is doing here. So
Right.
Yeah, we've stopped seeing Bounty Hunter when they removed the armor debuff he used to put with the track.
yeah,
He
We
used
still
to
saw a lot
remove
of him
armor
in
too.
competitive play, I felt, at least in the pro scene. I saw him fade out very quickly in the AD2L and other more amateur scenes, but I think he's still been a good hero. I just think that people have been less inclined to pick him.
Yeah.
so Brewmaster, another hero.
This
He
is
got
one of my favorite
he
changes
got a
in this
Yeah.
patch.
huge buff to his ultimate
Yeah.
last in 680. Still haven't seen him much. His cooldown got immensely shorter and much stronger. This time, basically the way this works is if you haven't been attacked for 10 seconds, you're going to crit. Excuse me, if you haven't attacked, you haven't made an offensive move in the last 10 seconds, you're going to crit. If you haven't been attacked for 10 seconds, you're going to evade. So if you jump in on someone after 10 seconds, you're going to crit and you're going to evade whatever happens. So I think
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. It's sort of subtle, but that's basically what it's making his role as an initiator even larger.
And
Yeah.
not just
I
an
think
initiator. I feel like this is a very strong effort to try to bring him back into either the mid role, but more specifically the offlane role, because it kind of works like a Janata now, where it's very easy to just kind of sit back and then go in and get a last hit very easily with a crit. And once you do get that six, you can roam around and be guaranteed the first hit crit once you go roam to gank mid or somewhere else. I think
yeah,
that's a huge benefit to him.
I think it increases solo kill potential a lot. Like you blink in, crit, slam, and then you can ult or anything. But always assuring a first hit crit is really, really good for solo killing. And I had a question about it. I wasn't sure. Like it says in the little, says like mechanic carries over the fire spirit when the passive via the Aghanim scepter. So
Right.
I'm thinking like if he, let's say he crits, slam, pops his ultimate with Ags, does the fire spirit get a crit, the first hit crit too? Like even though he just hit like 2 seconds ago?
I would
Like,
say
I wasn't.
Testing is in order.
I would say yes. I think
Testing's in order,
I'm pretty
but
sure yes.
it says it carries over. It doesn't. I would have. I mean, this might be a subtle thing. I would have said mechanic is duplicated on your fire spirit if it said that. But I feel like otherwise it carries over. So if Brewmaster himself hasn't procced this in the last 10 seconds, it's like the common thing. I'm not sure though. We'd have to test it.
I think you're making
But-
too many assumptions. We have no
Yeah,
idea until we
'cause
test it.
what-
This game is
where-
weird sometimes.
What I know for sure is like what happened with the slam. Like he slam pops his ultimate. He could actually slam twice in a row with the ultimate. So I think the crit is gonna work the same way because like you're creating a new unit. So I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna crit twice, like the slam twice. I
Yeah.
think,
Could be interesting.
and I think that's pretty important too. Like getting like 2 crits in a row, 2 slams in a row, a stun, and everything. You're gonna kill like probably any hero you want.
And
So I think
real
it's
quick,
like
though,
Twitch.
I
chat-
know that.
ahead.
Oh, are they asking something?
No, I was gonna say
spin
Twitch
to them
chat.
for a second.
The call is Shadowblade Brewmaster is the new meta, and I can actually see that happening too.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point. Papa Karcher from Banjo Cat actually Brewmaster is one of his favorite heroes to play as an offlane, but the poor guy, nobody ever wants to pick it for him. They're like, no, I know he can have a lot of kill potential once he hits 6, and he can survive very well in the offlane, but it's still not worth it to the team to have you do that. And they always go for the Clockwork or the Nyx or something else. But I feel like maybe with this, it will synergize his role as kind of a roaming ganker after he hits level 6 a lot better, so he can TP into another lane and come help out and kill, do those kind of things. So hopefully it'll bring back the role he's intended to do.
Here's hoping. Bristleback Warpath no longer has unique values for the first movement speed stack. Okay. And movement speed
Pretty much
stack
what that
bonus
means is
increased.
it
Oh, I see. They're rescaling.
it used to be it's going to be the same at max level or like whenever it's fully stacked, but it used to be that the first stack for Warpath would give you a huge movement speed boost and then the other ones would gradually taper on. But now it's going to give you a much more gradual one. So the first time you use Nasal Goo, you're not going to suddenly boost up to near haste speed.
Cool. Okay.
But it's actually going to be even stronger. Like if you have 6 to 7 stack, it's going to be stronger than what it used to be. Or I think it's like even 4 stacks, it's stronger than what it used to be. So it's like it's a buff in team fights, but that's like around the map. You just like always have 1 stack up all the time. It's a nerf for those players, but in team fights, it's a buff.
I see. Broodmother, someone we saw a lot in pubs, not so much in the pros. Spiderling's poison sting damage per second increased from 4 to 8. Not insignificant. Those are going to start to hurt if you imagine how many of them get going. And this is sort of the change going back on 6.8.0. So free pathing no longer deactivates when the enemy has vision. That was sort of the nerf to those crazy webs where you could just run around forever. And it's now disabled for 3 seconds when she takes damage. So going back, even if you can see her, she can still path, but it's sort of like a blink dagger now, and that's actually what this says, is it'll deactivate if you take that damage. So you're not able to use it as an escape, which I think is interesting. You can use it to regen in and to initiate from, but not as an escape. Insatiable Hunger lifesteal a little bit more. So she's getting a buff. I see this as a buff. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't think we're gonna see her in comp anytime
Still
soon.
not
Either
making
way.
it. All right.
Yeah,
Nope, nope.
but it does like decrease her power of being annoying. Like, cause let's say you have like Radiance, she's not gonna be, even though you don't have vision on her, like having Radiance gonna remove the free pathing.
That's true. Yeah.
So I think that she's just gonna be less annoying and a bit stronger.
Interesting. One of the other heroes now we're up to Centaur Warbunner. We've seen him increasingly more, even up to this past week when I think we saw him picked or banned in almost every game. Hoof Stomp Mana Creased, again, similar rescale. Just a constant 130 now instead of scaling up. My sort of analysis on this is just to make him a little bit less viable early game in terms of making him more mana dependent. Remember that Double Edge does not cost mana, so really the only thing he has to worry about in terms of mana is this Hoof Stomp. I like this
Yeah.
change. I think it's fine. It
I
doesn't
think it
decrease-
was
yeah.
I think it was really needed because like you used to be able to at level 1 do 2 hoofs, which was really powerful. And like let's say you compare like Centaur to like Chaos Knight and Sven, they have like the same thing. It's the constant mana cost at each level. And it's like both like CK and Sven and Centaur have a really, really good stun. And the fact that Centaur had like a really, really low mana cost compared to the other two was a bit like, it was needed. I like this change a lot.
Yeah, I like it. I think it'll be good. I think he'll still be played a lot. People have sort of gotten comfortable with his role, and he's popular, so ergo people will play him. Anyways, and he'll still be good around 6 or 7 when he becomes a really viable ganker. Chaos Knight, Phantasm now has a 50% chance to create 1 extra illusion when cast, because why not? Chaos Knight, not someone you see on the pro scene, really any scene as a carry, other than in combination with Wisp sometimes, or just because I feel like playing him. I don't think this will change anything about him. If he gets strong, like he has enough illusions to just beat people down anyways. I don't know that this is a huge change to him that'll affect how much he's played. What do you guys think?
No, I don't think it's going to be a huge benefit for him. It might help a little bit in his earlier stage where, you get level 6 and it's like Phantasm gives you 1 illusion. It's like, it's not really that exciting, but maybe now you get 1.5 illusions, a little bit more.
Chen, Moon, you wanna give us this one as the resident Chen expert?
At level 4, his slow is decreased by, or his cooldown is decreased on his slow by 3 seconds. Not really a big deal.
Are you excited about this change?
No, I am really indifferent to it. The I guess most exciting part is that you might get to use it third time in a team fight or something like that. It's not a big change really, just a minor rescaling.
Nice. Clink's Death Pact cooldown rescaled 45 and now decreasing up to level 3. I like this just in that I think Clink's is a finely balanced hero. I like this in that the duration of Death Pact is 35 seconds, so this would allow you to, if you play it right, always have something for Death Pact, which is sort of how I think it should have been.
Yeah.
So this is actually a nerf to Chen.
Yeah, in a way.
We'll get the most anti
Or a buff.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of my favorite, most subtle changes to a hero that one of my favorite heroes. Dazzle's Poison Touch. In case you didn't know, on apply, and there's a few like this. Anti-Mage's ult and Lich's ult both apply mini stuns as well on the cast target. Dazzle's Poison Touch no longer causes a mini stun, and you say, who cares about mini stuns? It removes Dazzle's ability to cancel TPs, to interrupt channeling abilities. You think about like Black
And
Hole.
it's physical, so you can cast it on somebody who's in BKB. You can actually break an Enigma's channeled Black Hole with it while he has a BKB active. You can no longer do that.
Dazzle is still going to be making those crazy Shallow Grave and Weave plays that you've always seen, but this just means that you have a little bit less control in the lane, a little bit less ability to chase them down. I think it's great.
I think it was really important. Like, I don't even understand why there was a mini stun on this spell. Like, he can cancel TP, cancel like the biggest
And
like
it's so
channeling spell
spammable. It's got
ever.
such a short cooldown.
7 second cooldown. Like, it didn't. I don't know
Yeah, it
why
was
this
pretty
spell had
ridiculous.
the mini stun. It was really. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, so I think Dazzle is now officially balanced. The mini stun was a great bonus for people who played it and knew about it, because canceling TPs was just hilarious to do. Like, if you're in a lane with a carry and you're chasing someone, they can TP, and I think that's fair. Disruptor kinetic field cooldown duration, or excuse me, cooldown reduced from 14 to 14, 13, 12, 11. Meh.
It's just synergized with the Chin Penitence cooldown. They're exactly
Oh,
the
there you
same
go.
times.
There you go. Good note. So, just to make sure that you always have kinetic field and you can synchronize that with penitence, for whatever reason you would do that. There you go.
To burn through your mana faster.
Burn through mana. Doom damage no longer ignores magic shields. I'm actually surprised about this one. I think it makes sense because the idea behind Doom is that it's doomed. Like, there is nothing
Yeah, they're doomed.
that does it. It's you're doomed. There's like no items, no abilities. You can still, the one thing you can do is heal, unless you have an AA ult going on. But I don't know. I guess Pipe of Insight. Are there any other
Abaddon
magic
really,
shields?
really messed Doom up a lot. Whenever he doomed somebody and there's an Abaddon on the enemy team, it
Oh,
essentially did no damage. So
I
that was really
wonder.
troublesome.
I wonder what was the effect of Doom on Ember Spirit.
The
Does
shield.
anyone know
Mm.
Mm.
if he had cast Flame Guard before he was doomed? What happened?
He didn't take damage. The Ember
That's
didn't take
that's what
damage.
this is. I think. I think this is
I think
almost,
it's that and Abaddon
yeah.
a little bit.
Because Doom is a very common counter to Ember. We've been seeing so much dominant Ember play. A lot of people even picked up Doom, and they were sort of splitting who to Doom. But I think if you can eat through that, it makes Ember very gankable early. So interesting. I like that. Drow Ranger. I love the new rework. I don't know what you guys think. I love the rework of her silence. Pushback duration increased, so this means as you're sort of doing that weird, awkward, like walking on broken glass or sliding on broken glass type movement, it's now a half second instead of 0.2 seconds. So, sort of a mini disable there.
I think that's going to be really annoying in pubs. It might even make her a little bit OP in pubs if she wasn't already. But in competitive, I think that that's like a-okay. I think that they have the coordination to deal with that more. But the Drow with the Shadow Blade running around, gusting people and then murdering them, it's just going to make her a little bit more annoying.
Indeed, indeed. Who else we got here? Earth Spirit. I don't play Earth Spirit. He's not in CM.
Who is this hero? I've never seen him before. Let's go on.
Uh, Stone Remnant recharge time reduced. He sort of, I think maybe they bounced back a little bit too hard on him in 680. Um,
Yeah, I think
obviously,
he's really balanced.
Yeah, he's actually the single least played hero, even less played than Shen.
because he's so hard. Like, he's very difficult. And I
Yeah,
saw people even at
There's a
my
lot of
level.
people who know how to play him though, but
Right, there
they
are,
just
but
like didn't want to after that.
it's just
yeah.
like
I
he
got
got
someone in
nerfed
my
and
team. Someone in my team, like it's his most played hero, and he actually had in the current patch like 75% win with this Earth Spirit. It's like when you see someone picking Earth Spirit, it's like when you see someone picking Meepo. Either he's like a god, or he's like complete trash and doesn't know what he's doing.
and
So that's how I see Earth Spirit now.
we'll get to this. I sort of think Earth Spirit and Tusk are very similar in that way, in that they're sort of ganking one-on-one heroes with Initiate. So,
Well, the last patch, which worked switched around his silence and his stun, was kind
right.
of meant to de-emphasize his ability as a solo ganker and try to work it more into a team fight oriented build, is what I've
Interesting.
heard. And that kind of makes sense to me, is they wanted to make him less like, oh, I'm just gonna run around by myself and just kill anyone I come across. And now he
Mm.
loses a little bit of that effectiveness, but in exchange gets stronger team fight.
His old stun was really stupid. Like it's 700 AoE stun range. Like
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is that? Like it didn't make sense. Like there's no hero in the world who ever had this spell like that. And like
So,
it was a ridiculous range, ridiculous. Like AoE was huge. Everything was, and the cooldown was like 11 seconds too. Like
and still,
I think Earth Spirit is like really balanced.
he's not in CM mode, and I don't think he's one of the other heroes. I don't think anyone got put in this patch. And if they're not put in now, I'm not sure we're going to see them in time for TI4. I don't know that they're going to drop that last
No.
minute. We're now, what, 3
I
months
think
out?
the name of the patch, like they make a last cleaning before the TI. That's how I see it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
They clean Dota for the TI4.
We could
That's
see
what they're
them
doing.
in 2 weeks or so add someone in, but I don't think they will at this point.
No, I don't think so either.
Earthshaker. So this is sort of a pro level only nerf, because I would, even in my games where I played it, I just don't like doing it because I think it's sort of stupid. You don't path pull around fissure, so they'll now sit there and wait for it to disappear. It just means Earthshaker used to be able to, in certain places, you could block the path of creeps and path them into the large camp or the ancient camps, and it sort of gave him a little bit an element of lane control that I don't think was intended. So he won't
Like
do
you
that
actually
anymore.
block them into the trees and then gather up like 10 or 20 stacks of creeps and then let them all loose at once and push many towers with that. But that was definitely not really intended. And if anyone was lucky enough to pick Shadow Fiend or Sven or something like that, they get a bunch of free farm. But anyway, it just removes a little bit of that weird stuff that was going on with him that
Yeah.
really shouldn't have been in a competitive scene.
I don't think this will affect him any in pubs, either of these really. I think he's still awesome. Still one of my favorite heroes. I love playing him. Echo Slam no longer ignores units. Third invisible, earn Fog of War. Actually important because you don't need Detect now to get in and just sort of drop the hammer on like a Ricky or a Nyx or someone. So could see that happening. You should always have Detect though, guys. Always have Detect. It's very important. Please carry Dust. Thank you. Elder
Okay.
Titan, someone who was pretty popular actually, had that spirit, astral spirit nerfed. Echo Stomp mana cost reduced, physical and magic damage increased just minutely. I don't think it changes him much. Echo Stomp's not what people really play him for, but it's hard to hit stun. Maybe they're trying to emphasize that more now. I don't know.
Well, a lot of people were just going 0-4-4 with them,
Which is
and
the
their
correct
skill
build.
build not taking the stomp at all. Well, at one point in the stomp is at least pretty nice. It's nice to have that
But I
disabled.
think what people are going to do now is like max your passive, of course. Only put 1 point in the spirit, and like maybe max the Echo Stomp because the mana cost is so low when the damage got increased, and it's a really good setup for your ultimate. I think that's maybe how people are going to play him.
Interesting. Yeah.
Who knows? I think that's what I would do.
We'll see. He's sort of my
Just
in-between
leave one.
heroes. I'm not sure this will bring him back, but I think there's a chance that
Yeah.
maybe someone can find an interesting way to play him, like you mentioned.
He's
Yeah.
still back. He's just a little bit niche.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
he's
not
a-
niche though
he's-
is Ember Spirit, and Searing Chains taking a little bit of a nerf there. Not quite a low-level stun anymore. So I like this. Just going from this subtle 2 to 1 at level 1. I think that's important to just honestly just to nerf him because he needed a nerf. Sleight of Fist bonus damage being reduced, not a ton as well, but at this point, like if you have level 4 Sleight of Fist, you should be getting it for the cooldown, not for the damage bonus in it. So I sort of agree with this as well. He should be doing enough damage on his own at that point that he shouldn't need that damage bonus. So again, just nerfing him a little bit in the early game, I would say.
Yeah, I think everyone is happy with the nerf on Ember. Like,
Invoker
was-
isn't because he's going to be back to first ban material.
He's already been there, man. Have you been watching the AD2L like ever?
No, Ember Spirit has overtaken Invoker for first ban, but now people aren't going to be first banning Ember anymore because it's a little bit less scary, and Invoker's going to be right back up in there.
Like Ember used
Guarantee
to
it.
Sleight of Fist, that's like level 10 Sleight of Fist, he would remove half the HP on every support. Like, it was really annoying. Now it's like gonna be like a third of the HP, so that's okay.
Enchantress Untouchable Slow increased from 3 to 4. I know you love Enchantress too, right? Moon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she's a lot of fun.
She's great. I love this slow. I don't know. I think she's a great sort of almost counter carry, sort of like a Viper.
It's actually, I think the whole purpose for that is to offset one of the rebalance skills they did about how the, I don't know if you mentioned it, but the attack slows are a little bit, they changed the stickiness
Oh,
on
I
them so
skipped
that
that.
if the attack speed changes, oh yeah, it was in the basic
the
mechanics, so that if you have your attack speed slowed by like the Fire Phoenix, or the Phoenix's Fire Spirits, or Untouchable or something, and then the slow wears off while you're mid animation in the attack, then it will resume your normal attack animation.
Interesting.
But to offset that a little bit, they increase the duration of Untouchable so that you still get the kind of full effect on Enchantress.
Nice. Okay. Nigma.
I think, anyway. Maybe I'm just way off.
Midnight Pulse AoE increased. We haven't seen a ton of Enigma. I think he's a hero I think is fun to watch. I think in practice is very hard to execute on. It's especially at higher levels, teams can keep a good position on him. And I feel like more often, maybe 3 out of 4, or even more often, I see people just immediately disable him once he starts that black hole. So I don't know, maybe this giving it a little bit more team fight, something else besides the black hole and the sort of pushing potential.
People don't play Enigma for the Midnight Pulse. Yeah. I'm just going to put that out there.
They don't, no. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be good now. Remember that Midnight Pulse is also applied on Agnim's black hole from him too. So.
I think that actually will help against pushing lineups a little bit because you got a Furion and a Lycan and 8 Necrobooks sitting at your front porch. You can Midnight Pulse them a little bit more effectively now.
Maybe. One of mine now. We're gonna see a hero. This guy is making a comeback. If you haven't seen, Ice Frog has a soft spot for Faceless Void. After that infinity movement speed in Chrono, the bash bonuses, base agility now up to. Turn rate improved, because God knows he needed a better turn rate. You got to be able to turn and leap away. That was sort of one of my things. He took so long. I love it. I hope we see more of him. I think we will. I think he's going to become a tier 1 carry. I know a lot of times, Moon, when we're drafting him, it's sort of, okay, if we don't have a Lifestealer or a Luna, Faceless Void's always sort of a good pickup. But I think he's going to might even pass up Lifestealer now in terms of his effectiveness. Okay, well, I guess that.
Okay, Gyrocopter?
Gyrocopter.
No comment.
Love the Gyrocopter. This is another hero we used to see a lot of and didn't as much. I sort of like this because Homing Missile now hits invisible units. It only applies to a few people generally, but especially laning makes him just a little bit stronger. Carries into the mid game once you sort of deal with a Ricky. TA mostly would come gank you and you could just I don't even know, just get rid of that homing missile immediately. Hits to destroy up to a little bit at higher levels. So again, more of a mid game buff. I like it.
I wish Gyro was a support. I drafted him
he was so much
as
fun.
a support.
So much fun as a support. You get an Aghanims and just blow people up on the other side of the map, or farm their jungle camps.
I love that. We should try that. That should be, Moon, will you put that on our list of weird new strats to try?
We tried that with OA. We did Ancient Apparition and Aghanim's Gyro, and we got Refresher Orbs on both of them and ulted their fountain. Both of us. It was a lot of fun.
I love it. Huskar, Burning Spear is no longer a unique attack modifier. Little buff to Huskar, I guess. Maybe he wasn't seeing enough play or something.
That's a huge buff because now the thing that takes away his health can give him back health by grabbing a Helm of the Dominator.
Which he, you should just grab that. I don't know.
It was before he had to make the choice of whether he wanted to apply the damage over time.
I wonder if this is sort of a I wonder if this is to counteract. So they switch. He used to reduce physical damage too, I believe, on his ult. Now it's just magic damage, and this will sort of give him a way of.
No.
What was it? Didn't they rework that?
They reworked his passive to give him, instead of giving him the attack damage, it gave him magic resistance.
Oh, okay. Okay, with it. Cool. Invoker, one of the heroes I have never played, probably never will, and have no idea about. Ghost Walk, slow, no longer affects magic immune enemies. That's probably a reasonable change. Ghost Walk got buffed last patch, so Invoker goes race car now, and everyone else goes slow still. EMP delay increased. Are these numbers significant in some way?
Yes, absolutely. 3 seconds is a lot whenever you're trying to come down from the tornado and walk away from the shiny pink stuff.
So it gives you... What's the timing of that like? I haven't played him, so I don't know the tornado EMP timing.
Count to 3.
So you tornado, count to 3. No, you EMP.
No. EMP takes 3 seconds. Just you don't even. Before it was the flood. the big change was that it was a flat delay instead of what before used to be a scaled delay on EMP. But it was not enough delay so that it was very easy to hit even without the tornado, and it really disrupted lanes and made ganks kind of ridiculous to just completely wipe out everyone's mana.
Yeah. Okay, so Runaway still.
Now it's a little bit easier to, yeah. Now it's a little bit easier to get away from it. It's still very, very powerful. I thought what would have been a really great rework is to for EMP the mana burn to be distributed among the heroes in the area. So if it's on one hero, it does like still a whole bunch of mana burn. But if there were 5 heroes there, then it would burn a little bit less on each one of them. But I guess Ice Frog doesn't like my ideas.
Or mine. Still want that A1. Jakiro, dual breath, range increased. Love it. Liquid Fire, level 4 cooldown reduced from 5 to 4. Love it. Liquid Fire also. He like got some pretty good buffs last patch. He's getting some good ones.
Yeah,
this
he
patch.
got huge buffs last patch, and
sort of
they're doing it
that.
again.
This stacks on that. So
Yeah,
remember,
they're just like,
dual breath got buffed, and now the range is going to be a little bit further. I always do find that his range on dual breath is sometimes you can just sneak out of it. 50 might be enough to just catch people. Liquid Fire, level 4 cooldown. Very good spell, too. You can do a ton of damage with his stuff, so level that. And Agnum's on him now. Pretty ridiculous.
14 seconds.
And an 800.
That is not the burn duration, right? That is the
No, that's the how
duration
long
that it's in the area.
You
Right.
like
It's freaking ridiculous.
you can lay that down, have a team fight, everyone can come back, and it'll still be there. That's so long. I love it. I think Jakiro, this I think is enough. If it's not clear now, I think we're going to see more of him. I think teams are going to have to figure out how to run him. He seems.
I think he was ridiculously good last patch, but I think that just like all the pro teams like knew it was so good, and they were just like holding out their bargaining chip.
He's
It's
just
like haggling with the dealer that they're like, well, if we just hold off a little bit more, they'll buff him again, and then it'll be really, really OP.
and
Hold
he
out,
is.
guys.
So
next,
I think
next patch
you
at 8
have
point.
to now. You
yeah,
have to now
6.81.
play him. You have to run him. We'll see what people do with
Yeah,
that. I'm excited.
I think
to see it.
so.
Jugs, base attack time improved slightly. Okay.
It's pretty significant. Base attack time is way different than just like a little bit of attack speed, because that's how much your attack speed can scale. So he can now attack significantly faster if he gets max attack speed.
And he does it frequently too, because he ends up usually with a Molnir and
Butterfly, lots of things.
so he can do that. Keeper Cuddle, Agnum Scepter upgrade provides permanent spirit form. Additionally, the following effects are
Yeah,
active
ridiculous.
during the day. Keeper of Light gains unobstructed vision, which means that he sort of will always see. It's not flying vision though. What's the difference between flying vision and unobstructed vision? I don't know. And Illuminate heals allies for 75% of the damage values. So,
Unobstructed vision is flying. It's like Night Stalker's Aghanims.
so it is flying vision.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like being a big. Yeah, it's flying vision. It's
Yeah,
not like
okay.
he was a ward. The ward doesn't see over the cliff. He see over everything.
Okay, so he'll see, and it'll just be a circle around him always
It's
During
a
the day.
flying ward.
during the day.
Yeah, and also being able to heal your allies for 75% of the.
And what?
But
And
that's
is
only
that
during
only
the day, though.
Is that with Aghanims
Yes,
or always?
with Agnums?
With Ags, and it's only the day he gets the heal. Not like he have Ags the night, he doesn't heal.
Okay, because the way they worded it, they said additionally the following effects are active during the day. I wasn't sure if that was part of the Ags Scepter upgrade or just to change the cuddle of the light. I guess that would have been a separate note if it was. So yeah,
And just
that's okay then.
as a sort of note there, because it's not noted, illuminates. If you have an Agnums, let's just say you're level 4, maximum channel is 5 seconds and 500 damage, so he'd be healing for around 400, which is a pretty good amount. So there you go.
Yeah.
Kunkka, torrent area of effect increased ever so slightly. Shouldn't be huge. X marks the spot can now last twice as long on allied heroes. That's going to be fun. Ghost ship allied buff duration increased. It's that move speed and what else is it? Move speed and something else. And ghost ship AoE indicator for allies, just a nicety. I think this will make it a little bit easier. It seems like all these are easier to coordinate some fun plays on him. The AoE indicator for everyone is nice because if you're like a Magnus or something, you sort of know where to push people in, or if you're a Darkseer, you can vac them more easily without having to guess. If you're pro, you
See
probably
some
didn't
more
need this to
Chin
start with.
combos. With sending people home and then X marking. I'm back.
Yeah, for
Used
sure.
to be done quite a bit.
If it's twice as long, put it on the list, man. We can make it happen.
Wait. Before we go on, Frog, do you remember back around TI2 whenever Kunkka was ran very, very commonly as a support in tri-lanes?
No, I don't remember that time.
Nobody remembers this. This was such a big thing, like just right before TI2. Yeah, it's like every game he was like banned because he was being picked in tri-lanes for setting
TI2
up
is when
stunts.
IG won, right?
Yeah,
IG1 TI2? I watched the whole thing, I don't remember.
I don't know. Oh well, it was before TI2. I think it was in the preliminaries. Okay, Legion Commander.
Legion Commander, overwhelming odds, bonus damage from hero increased, blah blah blah, overwhelming odds area of effect increased, overwhelming odds base damage rescaled a little bit, makes her more effective early. I don't think people usually took overwhelming odds on her. In some builds you wouldn't in like a jungling build, so that's exciting. I don't know, this doesn't, what's this say? Per creep is still the same. I don't think this is a huge change. It makes overwhelming odds really good if you can hit it in a group of heroes. If you look at the scaling here, it's not that different at level 1 or 2, but from there it sort of does become very tangible. I don't know, moment of courage, pseudo-random, same thing as Axe.
Yeah, very important. And at the end of this, I need to have you show a video to the Twitch audience so that they can see why this is very important.
Okay, we'll do that. Leshrac, Lightning Storm. Send it to me now if you want. We can take a break as we go over some of these. Leshrac, Lightning Storm now slows its target by 75% for 0.5 seconds. I think that's fun. Leshrac, I don't know, we don't see him as much anymore. He was sort of a pusher. I think he's very effective, especially with his ult. If you can catch people, the trick is if you focus him down, he sort of doesn't do his damage. Again, that spell that no one really took. My build was ignore Lightning Storm almost entirely. So
it was buffed quite a bit in 6.8. The cooldown was really, really low, so you could spam it a whole lot.
It's 4 seconds. It's like the mana cost got reduced, the cooldown got reduced, and the damage got increased the last patch, and now they just like added a good slow, a really good slow. So I think, I don't know how to skill this hero. Like everyone used to do like the stun and Diabolic Edict.
I think he's still been very strong. I think people have just been reluctant to try new things because it's been in a little bit of a rut. I don't know about the pro scene, but in the amateur scene
I think people just don't know how to like put the skill points. Like they like this Lightning Storm, but it seems like the stun and the Diabolic Edict are still really core. Like it's such a confusing moment for the Shrek players.
Indeed. All right. Let me get this up quick. Before we go on to this next one, let me see if I can just put this video up. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but yeah. So this is sort of what we're going to be looking at with Lich here. Video's a little loud. I'll turn it down so you can talk over it. Well, you guys just enjoy that. So Lich, Aghanim Scepter, Chain Frost no longer has bounce limit. So if you're playing level 2 bots like this guy is, you can just Chain Frost forever. That's hilarious. And Frost Armor can now be cast on buildings, which is a fun little thing. Lich is already a great support. I don't know why he needed buffs, but have them. They're not huge. Frost Armor very strong though, so throw it on a building and should be very good.
I think the Aghanims will actually be very effective at holding off those huge Lycan pushes that have like a Lycan and a Nature's Prophet and 20, 30 trees and 18 Necro books and all those things. You can just pop it out there and you'll probably dead all the Necro books, but you'll be getting a lot of gold while you do it.
That's true. Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually, using it to stop pushes. Lena, another...
I feel
yeah, go ahead.
The armor on Lich is really... on the building, I think it's really, 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 really good. And Aghanim Scepter, I don't know if you know that.
Too.
Yeah, it's also the Aghanim Scepter. You can actually like use it on Ancients, and the Ancients don't take any damage. So like it had that it doesn't have a bounce limit, like you can just put it on the Ancients, and let's say like Anti-Mage blinks in, he's gonna die.
And then every 60 seconds you can go and do it again, and you could have like 5 chain frosts.
I think there's a video about that too. If you search like ancient Aghanim scepter, maybe I don't know. I think I saw it, but it's really really funny to see. Like
Awesome.
I think like yeah, it's pretty fun.
That completely didn't even cross my
And
mind.
just so everyone knows, on ice armor bonus on that 3, 5, 7, and 9, pretty good amount actually for what it does.
Yeah.
And movement speed slow, 30%
Like-
melee, 15% ranged, attack speed 20% melee, 10% ranged. So as you mentioned, that will be
That'll help
applied to
hold
your-
off pushes as well.
Yeah, exactly. Helps
Yeah,
hold
we
off pushes and
we
movements.
used to put like Shadow Ranger on off lane with Lich. Like now the off lane Lich is like even stronger. It wasn't really that good, but it was funny. But like now it's really really good with the armor on the building. Like
Yeah.
you don't even lose your tower anymore.
I think this patch is bringing a lot of things that can be used to deal with the kind of the push problem that was going on before.
And
Yeah,
yeah, so it's definitely
that's true.
anti-push. I think that's right. Lena, attack range increased even more. Already has the longest attack range.
Yeah,
even
she
longer
totally
now.
needed that.
And Laguna
Yeah.
Blade, Agnem's now goes through magic immunity. That's a fun little thing. Yeah, she's still fun. I don't know if we'll see her as much. And she's basically, if you were going to play her before, you should still play her now. I don't know if there's any reason to switch. Lion, Hex cooldown, rescaled a little bit, or I guess reduced on the end here by 1 second on each of the ending levels. Makes him nicer as a support. I already liked playing him, but that 3-second cooldown, you do max level. I actually like to go a little bit more Hex, as long as you're not doing it for damage, because the Hex disable is a little bit longer. So I think this is nice. 12 seconds is more than enough time to combo it up with your ground spike or earth spike, whatever it is, and hex him again. Lone Druids. Yeah, go ahead.
I still think the Hex level 1 is better than everything because
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
it is.
level
Yeah, for
1.
sure.
Yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
it's what, 2.5
Yeah.
seconds as opposed to the 1
But
of
it-
earth spike or something?
Yeah.
yeah, it's like 2.5, and I think the most important it's the mana cost. Like you don't have this much mana when you're a lion. Like let's say I think you should keep the Hex level 1 like until you get max level and the mana drain, because it starts like I think at like 100 and it goes up to 200 until you get level 4 on Hex, and like you can't even spam it. Like you can't even do it twice. So what's the point of like having a spell that costs too much mana for yours? And it's only gonna like not even double it's double the mana for like one third of the time.
Right.
So it's not worth it. That's what I think. But of course it's a good buff for like late game, but for the early stage where Lion really is stronger, it doesn't change much.
Interesting.
It's a buff, but it's mostly for the late game, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see in the scaling as well. Lone Druid, Spirit Barrel health regeneration increased. Apparently the bearer was too weak. Who knows?
Nothing game changing there, just a little bit more convenient for the druid.
Luna base agility, and this is sort of a big one. Luna base agility reduced from 22 to 18. That's a pretty.
I kind of like it because she has her lunar blessing for last hitting, so
Yeah, this is.
it doesn't cripple her by any means.
She doesn't need this extra agility. You're right. She uses lunar blessing, can help with last hitting. It makes it so that you sort of have to take that, because otherwise that's a pretty low base agility. And also she'll be a little bit slower too. Agility, obviously, the things it brings with it. A little bit less armor, a little bit less attack speed.
Attack speed?
That's the one. So, I don't know. Just nice. She's probably the most popular carry right now. We'll see how she pans out with this. Could be a little bit weaker early game. We'll see. Lycan, Shapeshift no longer provides the bonus health. So, nerfing Lycan in a way that, and this is true of everything, in a way that doesn't fundamentally change how you play the hero, but just sort of changes where his weakness is. So, Shapeshift, a lot of times you use it to get away. That's great, but can't really use it as aggressively anymore. At 300 bonus health.
I mean, that's not the nerf I wanted to see. I think that the wolf are really too good at level 4. Like they're just too strong. Like a Lycan with like three core items can like kill any carry with like 5 core items. Like that's because of the wolf and the necros. Like they hit too hard, and then the wolf like they don't die. Like you cannot like they have like 80% magic resist, so supports cannot kill them, and like they can follow you around without you noticing. Like it, I think the wolf are the strong thing with Lycan right now, and I didn't like the nerf. I don't think it's important at all.
All right.
That was more. I didn't like the wolf.
Needs a little bit
I
more,
think
so we'll probably
that's
still
what's
see him still first pick, first ban material, I think.
yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. Magnus, hopefully making a comeback because we've seen some great Magnus play. We just saw, who was it? We were watching Elysium Gaming on Sunday with some incredible Magnus play. So removing the skewer maximum target limit used to be it's like 2, 3, 4 or something like that as you level it up. No maximum target limit now. Hit everyone. 5-man skewers from the start. Skewer range also
Another thing I
increased.
think helps with the big pushes, whenever you can just skewer all the creeps.
And this is actually interesting too. It's scaled at the bottom end, so it'll basically makes it much more viable at level 1. You might only need 1 or 2 levels of skewer to be effective. At 150, get him under the tower, kill him. So I like that. I think it gives him a little bit stronger laning, and the skewer max target limit, you can do that as well. Later game. Medusa, split shot reworked from 50, 60, 70, 80 damage with 5 maximum targets to 80 damage with 2, 3, 4, 5. So swapping around the damage reduction, always 80%, but now with fewer targets. Interesting thing to
I
do
think that's
there.
really clever.
Yeah. And why do you say that?
I don't know. I just like 50% damage was very little, and if you're using it in the lane for kind of like a harass, then pushing the whole creep wave back wasn't always feasible. And I feel like the scale's a little bit better. Like, it was kind of useless until you
Yeah.
can get it level 4. So a lot of times you just wouldn't take it until you could
Do a
utilize
lot of
80%
damage.
damage.
Right.
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
wasn't very useful in the earlier game, and this way it's still useful in the early game without um, changing it in the late game.
I think it's cool to be able to harass too. And if you look at, yeah, I mean, in theory, the theoretical amount of damage you can put out is actually lower at level 1, but in practice, if you're focusing on occasions when there are 2 or 3 targets in lane, be it heroes or be it those remaining creeps, I think it's cool to be able to do that. Mystic Snake no longer requires Fog of War vision to bounce, so you can hit people in Fog of War. Yay. So makes it hard to run from or hide from. Mana Shield damage absorption, huge buff here actually, especially to the early game. And
For the
this is
early
why,
game, yeah.
this is why I was thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, is it maybe a play to make her viable in the offlane?
No, I don't think so.
I was wondering.
I think it's just a way to make her less useless in the early game,
Okay.
because it's one of the biggest faults with her, and why people don't really want to pick her as a carry is because she's so susceptible to just dying and being useless until 30 or 40 minutes.
All right, so just overall carry. Meepo,
My opinions.
yeah, I mean, I think that's true. I was just trying to think if there was some way to play with, like, okay, she can absorb more damage in the offlane a little bit, and then the split shot hitting 2 targets, like, I don't know. I was trying to figure out if that might be a good way to sort of harass people, harass a lower number of targets, but that doesn't necessarily apply. Meepo, base movement speed increased by 10. Look for him at TI4, hopefully. Nothing too big there. You can still either play Meepo or you can't, is what it comes down to. Mirana's Sacred Arrow Vision reduced. A little bit of a nerf to her. I like it. It's subtle. You can still arrow, but you can't necessarily use it as effectively for scouting. 800 is a pretty big vision range, too.
Yeah, that was a very common thing, is that people would very often just use the Sacred Arrow like a moving target or a moving ward.
You can spam
Just
it, too.
pop it out
which-
whenever you want to see. Yeah, pretty much. And see where they're at or where they aren't is sometimes just as important.
All right, Naga Siren, as made popular by Miracle. Mirror Image Illusions damage dealing is reduced. Riptide AoE reduced ever so slightly. And Riptide negative armor no longer goes through magic immunity. It's just another one of those, like, yeah, why would negative armor go through magic immunity? Buff to the BKB heroes on a team, I guess. In Mirror Image, I like that the illusions are dealing a little bit less damage. It's still, you can still obviously use her to to Radiance farm and do all that, but the right clicking of the illusions won't be as painful. I don't know. That's what I got. Yeah? Yeah.
Yep.
Necro,
Sure.
Heartstopper Aura AoE increased, which is so much fun to be in lane with already. Reaper Scythe now adds 30% duration to the respawn timer. And remember, too, that when you have an Agnum's, Reaper Scythe disables buyback as well.
I thought like when they did that changement, like I think it was a patch ago, I thought this changement was gonna be so huge, like no buyback. But I don't know, it didn't seem like it.
Well, they nerfed
Didn't seem
buyback
like-
quite
Yeah,
a bit at the same time.
That's why.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not.
maybe that's why.
It used to be the Wild West of buybacks. Like if you had money, you bought back. And now people are finally realizing you sort of get, once it gets towards the end of the game, you get one fight to buy back. And so you get usually like one mid game and one late game, and you have to make sure you know when you need those. Nevertheless, this could be huge on carry still, because you know in pro games people are saving for buybacks. We'll see. In Reaper Sight, this isn't an Agnum's buff, remember. This is just raw ability. So he'll get that always. I think that's nice. Night Stalker, darkness now affects the vision of buildings as well, so you can gank people around towers a little bit more easily. Cool. I like him. I think people will still play him. Nyx Assassin, ultra popular. We've seen him first pick, first ban, many games. Cooldown increased on Impale from 11 to 13. He used to be able to use this, you could go in, and as they started running away, you'd usually be able to track him down with a second Impale. That might affect that. And it can't be blocked by Lincoln Sphere, which I don't know why it ever was, other than the fact that it used to be a unit target instead of a point target. So just a little bit of a rebalance there. I think ultimately he'll still be played a lot. Ogre Magi, base armor increased by 1. The Ogre Magi gets
Because
stronger.
5 wasn't enough, right?
He's already a very strong tanky.
He's now got, what, 6? 6
Yeah,
base
it's gotta
armor?
be 6. I don't even know. Cast animation improved too.
Just a little tip. As somebody who plays a lot of Visage, Ogre Magi is one of the most annoying supports to play against as a Visage.
Because he can't just
Early
run through
game
that
in the
armor.
landing stage. Yeah,
And
well,
he's
you
got
can't rip
that-
through the armor.
and
He's
the
got so much tankiness.
Gravekeepers on the
And yeah, the burn will do more damage to you than any other hero, and it'll tear through your Gravekeeper's cloak.
Yep, there you go. And cast animation improved here a little bit. And the thing to note that someone pointed out in a video is that he can now cast through. It's now shorter than the time in between Clockwork's. God, what even is that called? Clockwork's mini stuns. So you can now cast on him or on other people when you're inside the cogs. I like it. Ogre Magi, everyone. You either play him or you don't. RNG gods only. Another one of my favorite heroes. I think he's still my featured hero and my avatar on the Reddit forums. Omni Knight. Purification AoE. Remember, this deals damage in an area around the heal. Increased slightly again. Repel no longer removes positive buff from allies, and as the tooltip notes, means that it no longer removes Guardian Angel. You used to have to be very careful. You'd have to cast Repel on someone and then Guardian Angel, and that would sort of take away your ability. Now you can cast Guardian Angel, and when you need to, after that, throw on Repel. Reduces the cognitive load a little bit, so that's fun. And Agnum's Scepter Guardian Angel increased from 5, 6, 7 to 8, 9, 10, so 3 seconds on each of those. And that is global and applies to buildings, and that just seems awesome.
And it has a very low cooldown compared to the Fortify, and it lasts twice as long. So look for that, and the Lich ulti or
This
Lich
is-
Frost Armor in conjunction with each other.
I just want to play this. I want to play Omni Knight again. I miss it. No one ever drafts him for me. PA. Stifling Dagger cooldown decreased. She uses that to farm in lane. Yay. Blur evasion chance actually pretty high here. Another 10% at the final level, which is sort of when you're looking for her to be in full carry form. That's
I actually don't like
amount.
that change, because in the last patch they made evasion stacking,
Stack.
so she can stack it with a butterfly. She can stack it with 5 butterflies if she wants.
Yeah, you can, if you stack it with, I think it's 2 or 3, it's something in there. It's probably 2 now with this extra 10%. You can walk into the fountain and just basically stand there. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a video of our friends at Double Click Dota who are in the tournament, aren't they? Double Click Dota 2, and they do all these videos. They have the video. Alchemist takes a shower and he just walks into the fountain with five.
Yeah, I talked about to the captain of Double Click Dota, and he just told me like it was a friend who had this YouTube channel, and like the friend asked him if you can name your team after my channel, so people
So it's like a
check it.
sponsor,
Yeah, it's a small sponsor, I guess. I don't
sort
think
of
they get any.
a moral
Yeah,
sponsor, not
but
financial.
I think
sponsor.
they're friends, and like the guy who makes the video checks he
I
like
was
coaches
wondering
them or
about that.
something. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
he
so
told me
I've
that.
always been a
Like, I
fan.
asked him.
Double Click Dota 2. I'm happy to hear that.
PA, get a BKB still because magic damage is the way to take her out. Right clicking going to be even harder now, especially with lifesteal and crits. Oh my god. Phoenix, someone not in captain's mode, won't see him in pro. Cast point extended for the dive, like that. Diving was
Yeah,
pretty
good. It
easy.
was almost instant before.
And Fire Spirit's damage is reduced, so not a ton, but like 5. Okay. And the health
All
cost
of its
was
burn
increased,
damage, mind
so-
you.
Right, that's true. So Fire Spirit's a little bit nerfed, Icarus Dive a little bit nerfed. Phoenix still probably not Captain's Mode material. We'll see how this plays out, though. I think that'll help a little bit. Pugna, Decrepify mana cost reduced. Another word, duration increased. Look out!
Like
Here
it.
comes Pugna. He's great. He's a
He's
lot of
he's
fun to
always
play.
been coming. He's never stopped.
He's
He's
ready to go.
always been here.
Agnum's
Don't
life
call it a
drain.
comeback.
Agnum's life drain, man, and now you don't even need mana to do it. Queen of Pain, and in hindsight, I was thinking I used to see a lot of Queen of Pain. I don't as much anymore. Now that I think about it, maybe it's just the stuff I've been watching. But Shadow Strike cooldown reduced from 2016-12-8 to 16-12-8-4. That's a really low cooldown. Really low cooldown. Shadow Strike
I
cast
think
range
we don't
increased.
see her as much in the amateur as we do in the more professional scenes because they draft her for totally different reasons. It's all about the lane control there and not about the ganking. Well, it's about the ganking too, but whereas in the amateur scene, I think that I don't mean this in a bad way, but they don't quite have the skill cap that the professionals do to really utilize her to her full extent in the lane.
So
You can
pros-
use other heroes that have a lot of ganking potential.
I think we might see even more of her now. Maybe the Quap to Storm Spirit ratio will be a little bit higher. So that's her. Razor strength gain increased. This is a pretty big gain increase. That's per level, so that stacks up over time. Unstable current slow duration increased ever so slightly. Has more of an effect at higher levels. And I have to remind myself what that is. Thoughts on Razor? I don't know. I like that the strength gain. He seems that's gonna tank him up quite a bit.
hmm And I think he needs that because he's a hero that needs to be tanky but isn't naturally tanky. You build him tanky to complement that, so you actually can do things like build race car mode and still have the tankiness to
Love race.
do the things you need to do.
Backstab now works when attacking allied units. Makes denying, gives them a little bit better lane presence. I like that. That's cool. Shadow Demon added Agnum Scepter upgrade, Demonic Purge cooldown replaced with 2 charges that have a 40-second replenish time. You
So
can
pretty
use-
much he can ult twice.
Yes, you can use Demonic Purge back to back.
And I'm wondering if you get a refresh orb if you can have 4 charges.
Yeah, I think you can, but I don't like
That-
this upgrade.
I don't think it's
Demonic
enough.
Purge the
I
whole
feel
team.
like I don't
Yeah,
think
but
like I don't
I
think
think the-
Shadow Demon's ever gonna like actually purchase Aghanims, and
Yeah.
Yeah, one
I
of
don't
the selling points of Shadow Demon is his ability to run completely on brown boots and a magic wand and still be completely useful to the team. So if you're gonna have a support that's gonna farm up a scepter, there's
I don't know
probably
if
other ones
you-
we get.
I don't know if you know, but Shadow Demon is actually the strongest mid hero in the game, but like he doesn't need any items, so like
Right.
he's good with levels, of course, but like he does not need any items at all. So there's
Brown
like
boots,
he can
magic
kill,
wand,
like,
maybe
the-
a force staff. That's all he needs.
yeah, like that's like, and that's way too much. Like he is like the strongest mid hero in the game right now, but no one puts him mid because he's just not gonna do anything after like something. He's not gonna do anything special. He's not gonna farm a blink and kill even more. Like he is like the strongest mid. Like you get like 4 stacks at like level 7. Like he can actually like kill any mid like at level 7. Gets like 4 stacks and it's 1,000 damage.
Yeah, and they just
So it's like,
changed that
yeah.
too last patch, the cap on that. So very high now.
Yeah.
Shadow Fiend, Requiem
Yeah.
of Souls secondary debuff, and had to look that up too to make sure I had the numbers right. It's a slow in a 700 radius for 5 seconds, slows 20%, and does damage reduction of 50% as well. Now applies to magic immune units, so look out for Shadow Fiend to be Shadow Friend to be a little bit more popular. I don't know that it's a huge
a little
change.
less friendly.
A little less friendly. I don't think it's a huge change, but just sort of retargeting him against magic immune units. BKB was a great counter. I remember I was carrying against him, and you just watch him wind it up, and you just time your BKB, and then sit and laugh and right-click him. So might prevent that a little bit more. Silencer, agility growth increased pretty substantially here. This is a huge agility growth. We were just talking about
I think
carry
that,
silencer.
yeah, boosts his semi-carry potential or carry potential even, but I think maybe semi-carry is the most you want to take him.
I mean, this is a 50% buff to his agility growth. That's going to give him 25 additional agility by the end of the game. That's massive. That's like a free eagle horn. I don't know. That's a ton, and I definitely think semi-carry is very reasonable for Silencer. Curse of the Silent cooldown decreased as well, more at the end of the game, so you can spam that. Still also going to be a pain in lane because he's Silencer. Would either of you guys run him as either your primary carry or like a secondary?
I like him as a mid, or if for some reason you're doing dual lanes as a secondary carry, he doesn't have the potential to off lane, I don't think, but I think he can utilize farm quite well. I think he can be very strong with it.
Yeah, maybe like a really annoying aggressive trailing. I don't know. He got buffed, yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm not
as a
sure how I feel
situational
about
carry.
it.
It wouldn't be as
Yeah.
like okay, we need to outfarm them, let's pick Silencer. It'd be like we want to go aggressive against them and shut their only hero that we're afraid of down. Something like that.
Yeah. Skywrath Mage base movement speed increased 10. Concussive shot damage increased as well, just a little bit early on, but that's gonna add up. Remember, he can sort of spam that. So Skywrath
There's a lot of
Mage,
base move speed. He moves almost as fast as Luna.
it's fast, man. He's gonna chase you down, and that's his thing, is he can already chase people down so well. I don't know, man. I'm getting scared of him.
I think running away from Skywrath Mage is kind of the wrong idea. You should be chasing him down because he's got like what, 80 HP.
0 armor.
Yeah,
0 armor and no HP. Yeah.
his
Yeah.
move speed is actually higher than his HP now.
Yeah, you gotta chase him. I haven't seen him as much in pro games, but I know some people play him to great effect in amateur games. Sniper's acquisition range, not maxing. This is whatever. Auto target units at max range, sure. Who cares? Shouldn't affect too much. Spirit Breaker, Nether Strike cast range increased to a constant 700. Scepter range up to 850 now, same constant. Nether Strike cooldown rebalanced from 75, 80, 70, 65, or 60. So again, it's going to be a shorter cooldown at the end, a little bit longer up front, but 5 seconds you probably won't need. He is 700 cast range on Nether Strike. That's pretty fun. And this might be to counteract. He does lose people in Fog of War now during the Nether Strike cast. So this might be sort of a way of counteracting that. I'm not sure. Sven, base damage increased by 6.
I think this is huge. In the last patch, he got like, what was it, 2 more armor? So he's got like base 4 or base 5 armor now. I think it's 4. And now he has 6 more damage also. And that's going to make him very strong in laning. If he wasn't already, I feel like he's going to be a very strong laning presence if people decide they want to go for carry Sven. And you can do that now without having to get, for instance, a Quelling Blade and a Stout Shield, and then starting with only salve or something like that, you can actually buy some items on him.
Yeah, he's up to
You
5
know,
armor
last
now.
You have so
patch,
much
like,
base damage. Yeah.
yeah,
Five.
I
It is
thought
five.
last patch with the armor he had last patch, and now with the damage, he's gonna be a good mid.
Yeah,
But
add
I
in
don't
Warcry
know.
also. If you get
Yeah,
you max that, that's what 16 armor at level 7. That's
yeah,
a lot of pushing power. I've one thing I wanted to, or what I had talked about with overachievers is that we run Sven instead of Juggernaut and pushing lineups like with a Chen or something like that, and then just Warcry and pump up to the tower because 16 armor is essentially 96% effective HP. It's like doubling the HP of you and all the creeps around you while you're tanking those tower hits.
Yeah, I think that's
hmm
hugely effective. That would be interesting. Another thing to try. I really think Sven is going to be strong now. Templar Assassin, not a big thing here, but it basically just changes how you cast the traps. Both are now 0. So great.
I'm still I'm still waiting for the patch where they give TA either T or A because right now she has none. Okay, never mind. Forget it.
Terrorblade, who apparently was just ridiculously overpowered last game, or last patch, excuse me. Strength gain, nerf. Reflection slow does not go through magic immunity, and reflection duration rebalanced, so much lower now early on in the game.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest problems with them is at level 1 you have a 5 second what is it, 60% slow?
Yeah,
40%
it's
slow?
something like that. Let's see, I could probably.
Yeah, and now it's actually 2.5 seconds, and that's somewhat manageable. And the strength gain, he was already pretty squishy. He's going to be really squishy now. You're going to have to do something about that. Go for that Scotty. I see people trying to go Radiance on him, and everyone's like, don't do that. We're going to report you if you go Radiance. And they do it anyway, and we lose.
60% is the slow. Another Moon special here, which I think he's going to be very happy about. Anchor Smash damage reduction increased from 40% to 60%. Literally taking no damage, and it works on Ancients.
Yeah, 60% reduction is that's if people decide that they want to start doing off lane Tidehunter is going to be a very hard for any melee carry to deal with. I mean, you can't last hit with that little damage.
Heat-seeking missile on Tinker no
yeah.
longer blocked by Ethereal. Actually interesting because you used to just be able to Dagon Laser. Now you can Dagon Laser heat-seeking missile. So
Yeah, he totally needed to have more burst. Good job.
I just like
Oh,
it's gonna hurt so much. I can't. I don't know.
nobody's gonna be alive to be hit by the heat-seeking missile anyway.
I just
Like I don't
don't.
understand the point.
I don't know if he needed that buff. I don't know. Like it just makes him come online even earlier, if anything. Anyways, that's Tinker. You'll still see some ridiculous people playing him, but now it'll be rampages instead of triple kills. Tiny, Craggy Exterior Stun, another Havoc favorite carry. Rescaled, so it's a little bit lower at lower levels and higher at higher levels. That's nice. I think it increases his carry potential ever so slightly. Very few people take it anyways early on because you're really just looking for the avalanche toss combo. One level, might be good. Troll Warlord, Whirling Axe's cast point improved. Yay for Troll Warlord. Minor, right? Yeah.
Well, not really at 0. That's instant.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I was
pretty
happy
big.
about it. I like Troll. He's a troll.
Trolling with Troll. And this is one of my favorites now. So Tusk was Sir Jeezy, may he rest in peace wherever he is. Tusk reworked Snowball into a 2-part ability. So you now sort of I just can't help but think of it as a train where it's like turns into a snowball. All aboard! Sub-ability to launch the snowball. You have 4 seconds to launch the snowball. I haven't dealt with this in game to see sort of the mechanics of how it works and feels, but you can less forcefully load people in. A lot of times Tusk would sort of take me with him in games where I didn't want to go dive into the middle of all the heroes. But you can load people in, so you can still make sure Earthshaker gets his slow butt in there. Moves faster
Come on,
for each...
sniper, let's go get that Centaur Warlord.
Yeah, right, because that's exactly what Sniper wants. You can load him in. Snowball moves much faster for each allied hero inside it, and this is not a rescale at all. It's actually going to move faster for people inside it. You could sort of run from the snowball and it wouldn't get there. I think this is going to make it so that with 2 people, 2 to 3 inside there, or excuse me, 1 to 2 inside there, you'll be able to catch them. And it deals extra damage for each additional hero in it. I love Tusk. I think Tusk mid is still a thing. I don't know. You just get him on that gank train. I think he's so much fun. We'll see if any pros pick him up. I don't think I've ever seen a pro play him, but I would like to.
On to Undying.
Undying. Soul Rip area of effect increased to be absolutely massive. Tombstone Zombie Deathlust's max percentage health threshold increased from a 5%, 10%, 15, 20% to a whopping 20, 25, 30, 35. They no longer give gold or experience. However, the Tombstone's bounty has been increased. Not a ton.
I think that's good. Alchemist farming those zombies is a little bit ridiculous.
You want to talk about Alchemist? I was enjoying it as Luna. Sometimes Earthshaker even would just be a little bit of fun.
Vengeful Spirit also, because it's the
yeah.
Wave of Terror is HP removal. You just wave over the zombies. Mm-hmm.
That's nice. And Plague Aura now affects magic immune units. Yay. Undying was sort of on the cusp as a B or C level hero. I think he's going to be very viable as an offlaner. This especially the Soul Rip AoE allows you to heal from a longer distance. I think that's cool. Would you play him, Moon? You would still play him.
Oh, I love Undying, yeah. He's a lot of fun.
Another hero getting a buff that I don't know if he needed a buff. Fury Swipes, no longer a unique attack modifier.
Yeah, Desolate Ursa is going to hurt a lot.
I don't know.
And he has the option to go for a Helm of the Dominator instead of a...
I played him today with the new patch.
Yeah,
like well, you get an Orb of Venom for 300 gold, and you get a permanent slow. Like it's just I went to study that game. Like I snowballed really fast, but like the Orb of Venom really early is really good.
I've seen a lot of people doing Roche at like level 3. You just need the Morbid Mask. You don't even need the Vlads.
Yeah, that's right.
And you could even go for a Mask of Madness now. You wanted to.
Like you get let's say you get random Ursa, and like I think you're like 25 gold away from the Mask of Madness. You level 1 Roche, maybe? No, I don't think so. You need someone else.
I don't know. I like it. And sort of the like, this is my vote for the where did this come from and like what were people smoking vote for hero changes. Vengeful Spirit, when she dies, now inflicts her killer with a negative vengeance aura, decreasing the damage of her killer and their nearby allies until she revives, based on her level.
Tactical feed?
Tactical feed?
Yeah.
It just run right into the thing and die intentionally, and then have everyone else go team fight.
And to remind everyone what that is, it's 12, 20, 28%, and 36% at level 4. I think I might start taking that even earlier now. Mixing it a little bit more possibly with Wave of Terror. Maybe just getting 1 rank of Wave of Terror. I don't know. I think it's fun. She's a support, so she does often die early in fights. And that can be a big game changer. I still love her.
Especially whenever you're swapping in to initiate things. It's kind of like sometimes you toss yourself.
Yeah. Hadn't even thought of that. So, awesome. Visage, Grave Chill cooldown increased from 10 to 16, 14, 12, 10. Sorry, Moon.
It's okay. It's not a big deal. They boosted the mana cost of it last patch, so it's not really something you want to be spamming anyway. It costs 100 mana, and at level 1, which is usually whenever you take Grave Chill, you don't have enough mana pool to be casting that every 10 seconds anyway. The only thing it might change is that you'd get level 2 or 3 of it instead of maxing out Cloak, or maybe your last point Soul Assumption. Mm-hmm. But I think it's fine. It's not really a big deal.
Warlock, Shadow Word duration increased from 9 to 10. Always a pain anyways. And it doesn't change his damage either on that, so it's not like a rescaling over time. It's just actually going to do more damage. Let me see what that is. It's damage slash heal per second is 15, 25, 35, 45. So that's an additional
An extra 90
30,
damage.
30 to 90, yeah, depending on the level of it you have up. Really cool. Upheaval cooldown reduced. It's actually the biggest pain in the ass. Upheaval, like trying to do anything with it. There's no way you can get through it. It's just impossible. You literally don't move when you're in that. So we'll see. He might. I don't know. He's still a pain. He's a pub stomper. Might see a little bit more as a zoning thing now. So keep an eye out for him. Wind Ranger, activating Wind Run now disjoints incoming attack projectiles, and this is something I actually last week in the game saw a Wind Runner die, and I was like, she was wind running. I don't understand how that hit her, like how she died while wind running. That's apparently why I didn't know this. So it will now, you can use it to disjoint what's incoming.
Yeah, the evasion is decided as the attack is cast, not whenever it hits. So before, if the attack was cast before she wind ran, then it disjoint.
Oh, Moon,
Fixed.
you are dropping out something awful.
Sorry.
Oh, maybe that was me. I don't know. Yes. Okay. And Agnum Scepter focus fire reduction decreased from 50, 40, 30 to 30, 15, 0. No special rules for procs. What were the special rules for procs?
I'm not actually sure what the
Was it-
special.
oh,
I know
don't think
they
you could
they
crit.
changed focus.
Wait, hold on. This might be huge. I don't think you could
No, you could crit.
previously.
No, you could if you had the scepter. I don't know what the. I know because I did it very much in the Year Beast thing. But I know they changed it in the last patch, and I don't remember what they did. I think they're very much trying to sell the scepter upgrade for Windrunner, but nobody wants it.
I don't know, man. I want to figure out what that is. I'm going to Google that while we go on to the next one here. Witch Doctor, Maledict, best spell maybe in the game. Certainly for him. Maledict cooldown reduced from 35 to 20, which is just so short. And the Death Ward base attack time improved ever so slightly because nothing says screw you like more hits. I don't know. People play him already. I think it's still a pretty good type thing. I don't want to watch a video to have this explained. Someone explain it to me.
Explain what?
This Windrunner thing. I'm still trying to find this.
Oh, okay.
Disjoints Ags on 200 plate. Blah 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 blah. Well, 10 changes you need to know. I don't know. We'll find this. On to Wraith King. Becoming very popular too. We've seen him in the AD2L, see him in pubs a lot. Mortal Strike damage ratio increased from about 0.25 at each level, and base armor reduced by 1, however. So, boo. I don't know. Don't think it changes him too much. I think people still play him quite a bit. But again, not sort of that tier 1 hero. Activating Windrunner can destroy it. Alright, screw it. If someone in chat knows, tell me what the heck this proc thing is. Special rules for procs. Maybe I'll have to go look at the 680 patch notes. And Zeus, finally. Arc Lightning cast point improved from 0.4 to 0.2. It had a little bit of a lag on it, so shouldn't be as perceptible now. Lightning Bolt True Sight range reduced. Flying Vision range reduced. But you can now cast it on the ground, affecting the closest enemy hero in a 250 range. So the way this works, and I saw a video of this earlier today, you can cast it near an invisible unit and it will hit them if they're within a 250 range. So that's cool. And obviously you would get true sight around them. I don't know. What do you guys think on this?
I like it. You can really use it to de-ward now. If you know that they have a ward up somewhere, you just pop it down. Even though you don't have to like drag a jungle creep over or something weird just to get sight of the ward.
I don't know if you can. what is the targeting on it? Because it can be cast on
And
the
you target the ground.
but it doesn't affect. It says affecting the hero. So like if you cast on the ground and there's no hero, what happens?
It's just like if you cast summon treants on a ground that has no trees, then Prophet's just like, man, why'd you do that for? There's nothing there. But it still casts it.
Hmm.
I'm assuming. I could be
Regardless of
wrong.
his ability. Possesses mini stun. Huh? I don't know. We'll have to play test it, figure it out. On to the items. Luckily, there's very few of these, or relatively few. What are we at now? Oh, getting up to 2 hours. We'll be wrapping it up by then. Animal courier, ground respawn time reduced. Yay! Don't lose your courier early. You shouldn't be losing ground couriers, other than to those silly ganks behind the mid. Bloodstone heal increased. A bonus 100 HP on that. I don't know. I don't think that was the reason people get it generally, but nice to have if you're going to be getting a Bloodstone. Clarity mana regeneration increased. I think this is actually a good one. It takes a little bit longer, but will heal. It's actually the same regen rate for an additional 10 seconds. So a lot of times this is a great support buff. You use clarities all the time. You're sort of sitting back from the fight as you do that. Regen another 35 mana. I'm down. Yule's Cyclone now deals 50 damage to enemy units when they land. And that's maybe so you can't immediately blink out of it?
Yeah. I think, yeah. I don't know. I don't like it. I think that's I would have liked they put the 50 damage on Road of Atos, not on the Yules.
Alright. And you can cast Cyclone
That's just
on
my
yourself
opinion.
while you're magic immune. I'm trying to figure out why. I don't know. I can't figure that out. Mana Style Mirror Image now resets the current attack and spell targeting priority. Effects shuffle. Okay. I'm gonna ignore that because it's complex
Yeah,
stuff.
it's just like when you let's say you're on Chaos Knight and you click your stun on the hero, and like from across the map, the time you get there, he just mentas just before you arrive. You still have like an auto target on the hero, and like now it's just gonna remove the target. You had a target on the hero when you casted a spell.
I see.
It's just it's not a disjoint. It's a bit like if he fails a disjoint, and you're still gonna have auto target on the same. You don't change your spell or anything. I don't know how to explain it well, but
Alright.
yeah, it's just
Yeah, I think that sort of makes sense in terms of how it works, in terms of retargeting other image shuffle based spells. Okay, yeah, and the note there is it affects Chaos Knight and Naga too. Mjolnir,
yeah.
chain lightning damage reduced, and this is my favorite one. Static shock area of effect now centered around the unit with the charge rather than the attacker. There are sometimes there was one video I think I found on Reddit a while ago where it's Axe maybe with a Mjolnir or something, and someone just kills their entire team, like sniper attacking him at range. He's up in the tier 3 and just his entire team dies to these charges hitting him. So that's nice. Not
I think it was an alchemist.
Alchemist sounds good to me.
I think I know the video you're talking about.
Exchange lightning not functioning properly when it procs. Not functioning properly when it procs. Well, a previous proc. What should happen when they proc in sequence? Okay, so maybe it was missing procs if it procced very rapidly. Necro, another very popular item. Movement speed rescaled from 330, 360, 390 to 350. So Necrobook 2 and 3 not going to be as effective, I guess, but I don't know, movement speed. You can't chase people down with it as easily. And 390 is actually very high. That's higher than most heroes with boots. 350 is not necessarily. It's about the same as most. Necro units XP bounty increased again. We saw them with the gold bounty increase, getting some XP to go along with it this time. Trying to really punish killing them, or I guess sacrificing them needlessly. And I do think this is something people do too much. Just throwing Necro units at the base, I don't know if that's a great approach. You're feeding 200 gold and 200 XP now every time. That can be pretty significant. Sort of like the Spirit Bear. You want to think about that. Observer and Sentry wards now require a control override. Hopefully we'll see fewer wards in the base, which happens from time to time. And you can't fountain ward, so you'll see less creative designs when you're fountain camping at the end of the game. It's pretty sad. I guess for profit, maybe, to be able to go and snipe couriers too. I don't know. We'll have to see exactly what the fountain area is, how big that is. Pipe of Insight, health regen reduced. Now provides Insight Aura, which grants 4 health regen to nearby allies. So, ergo, same end effect, basically. Active buff is no longer dispellable. So, Pipe...
The change to the Observer wards was because so many people were trying to give one to an ally, and it kept placing it in the fountain by accident.
Oh, that's why. So this is it's not meant as an offense. Okay, so that's like, you can give it in the fountain, and it won't mess up. Yeah, the control key one I got.
Right,
I thought
that was happening a lot.
The fountain.
It happened in some pro games even.
Yeah, I've seen those. So, okay, that makes sense. These are both designed to make it harder to throw it on the ground when you're trying to give it away. Atos, cripple ability, and this is underrated. I know you build this a lot, Moon, but cripple ability cooldown.
Yeah, it's 12 seconds is already so short. It's now 10 seconds. Like, it didn't need another buff, but they want to do it anyway. And the slow amount was actually increased too, not too long ago. So it's a very good item. Get it, guys. You'll love it.
Yeah, and what?
You probably never built one, but just do it anyway.
What is the duration on that even? Rod of Atos, 4 seconds. So, yeah, that's very tough to get away from. Scythe, hex units base movement speed increased. A little bit of a scythe nerf. I don't know. I guess we do see a lot of scythes, so rebalancing that. And here's what I like. I really like the Shadow Blade change last time, where Shadow Amulet can be used on allies. I think that it's very worth considering getting a Shadow Amulet first over the Blade. Fade no longer requires the target to remain stationary. Very nice if you sort of invis a friendly unit without telling them. Invisibility still requires to remain stationary, so you can move while it's going invis, but once it ticks in, you have to stay. Shadow Blade duration increased from 12 to 14. So
didn't they just reduce it last patch?
They did. They actually, I think they changed it so that the duration was the same, but they increased the cooldown greatly. So
was that it? Okay.
It was the cooldown. You used to be able to almost stay permanently Shadow Bladed, and then now the cooldown's like 25 or something like that. Yeah, but they just made the duration a little bit longer. Town Portal Scroll added an option key. I added an option to require a halt command in order to cancel. I will be using this. You should all rebind whatever your primary stop key is to halt, or attack cancel, because you can attack cancel with it. You can cancel casting spells more easily, and you can cancel your TPs, which so many times I've accidentally canceled my TPs by trying to move after them. So that's a nice little change for people pubbing like me. All right, we made it.
We made it. Show people the Legion Commander in a nutshell, brought to you by our wonderful friends at DoubleClick Dota 2.
All right, and
the video it's in the.
I will grab that, and while I'm pulling that up, give me your overall thoughts on this patch. I like it a lot. I think that nothing is going to be too unbalanced aside from maybe that Jakiro. I'm excited to see a little bit more Sven action, a little bit less Luna.
I'm really excited. I'm thinking it's going to diversify the drafts, at least in the amateur league, quite a bit. It's going to give people a lot more tools to work with that have lately just been kind of underutilized or unable to be utilized because of the threats that have been posed in the drafting phases. And it's like, oh, we can't do any of the fun stuff because we got to deal with a Lycan and a Nature's Prophet and a Death Prophet. So what are we going to do? I don't know. Now they have some more tools to work with that, and I think it'll be a lot more fun to watch and to play.
Frog, your thoughts?
Yeah. I think my top 3 is Zeus. I like Zeus, the new Zeus. I like the new Bloodseeker, and I like the new Brewmaster.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'll even put the Elder Titan. I think, I don't know. Maybe it's gonna put him back. I think it's a good buff, but I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, that's are my 3 favorite.
With that, I'll show you guys the DoubleClick Dota 2 Legion Commander moment of zen here. right clicking away. Alright, good. Kills the Doom there, that's nice. Oh, here comes the entire Radiant team. She has to die here, right? Look at that Death Ward. Oh, God. Oh, that's just too much. Alright, thank you for that, Double Click Dota 2. And a quick plug while we're finishing things up and hopefully transitioning to play a game here. If you are up for it, Moon and Frog, welcome to join as always. If you guys are interested in checking out the Season 3 Invitational Playoffs, they'll be starting up in next week. I think we'll have the play-in game with Annie and For Love on Sunday. You can check out here, all the teams going to be in that. Up here we have America's Finest, Top Seed, Gaming Tempest. So Frog will be hanging out with that. Are you guys, what's the deal now? Like, what are we calling you guys? Is it Icy Dong Bros? Is that a thing?
It's just... No, we're just like the team disbanded, so it's just like we don't like I told the sponsors like that we're not a team anymore, so we're not even Tempest anymore. So it's just like
just Frog and the
me
boys.
plus pubs people. Yeah, Frogs and people.
Alright, we're gonna call this AFDP. Will be facing up against Frog and the boys, so you guys will be playing sometime next week. I don't know if they've scheduled those yet. Gravity versus Lazura.
I think it says the 6th May.
Oh yeah, it does. It starts the 6th. So I think that means it'll either be the 6th or the 7th. We'll probably spread them across 2 days. Meepos, the 2nd seed, versus Youth. Annie and Forlove, the winner of that play-in game against Elysium, who we saw on Sunday. And then down here, these teams will be starting in the losers bracket off the bat, which means that it'll just take one loss to knock them out. So the loser of Forlove versus Annie.
Is that it? Really?
Yep.
I thought everyone I didn't know.
No, so the top teams.
Bracket.
So you guys luckily get to start in the upper bracket here, and then the other teams will be down in the losers bracket. So one loss for these teams and they'll be eliminated. Reason, Power Cats and Power Falcons, and Banjo Cat, Ape, Always Passing Excellence, and Double Click Dota 2. And then Team Lucid and the Overachievers. So all those teams are going to have to basically win out to make it up to the finals. The teams up here you guys can see up top, hopefully on the stream. Winners bracket starting out. So if they lose, they'll go down here, as you can sort of see. So yeah, you guys will have at least 2 matches. What are your thoughts going into the tournament? Are you guys ready for the America's Finest matchup?
I mean, when you say you guys, it's like me and who's ever online. Like it's not a clear team. So
right.
It's like
you're just gonna go out and have fun, whatever.
We played against them like I played against them with my old team, and I think we won like pretty solid. Like I think like there was one game like Bidman went Tinker, and like we I don't know, we had 2 lanes of frags and we still lost. Like we just didn't like conclude the game, but I know they're good, but I know they're beatable too. Like I think the 2 favorite team that I see is Team Gravity and Los Mipos Hermanos are the 2 favorite team to win.
Yeah,
that's my call.
I've seen Gravity's been very solid throughout. They play really well as a team, I think. Perhaps the individual play is not as good as some other teams, but
yeah, that's what I said to my team. Like, well, the players who was online last time, like their individual skill are like average, but like they're really like disciplined in the way they play. They know what they're doing in the game. They don't.
We have only seen them play against the other teams in their division, though.
That's true.
So we haven't got to see them go up against the other 3 divisions. So I think it'll be interesting.
And checking out the divisions here, you can see America's Finest, Gravity, and Meepos all winning their division, and pretty handily too. Gravity has not lost. I think one of those was a forfeit win. Meepos and America's Finest only dropping 1 match. So I think it's going to be really fun when you look at sort of here in the 13th, the second week of the playoffs. We're going to see some clashes of Titans, and we should even see them continuing into the losers bracket. So we're going to get some really good matches coming up over the next weeks. Yeah, if you guys haven't already followed the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Amateur Dota 2 League. We'll be broadcasting most of the games from there, a couple of them at twitch.tv/Amateur Dota 2 League 1, with a numeral 1 on the end of it. And you can also buy the ticket in-game. It's the AD2L Season 3 Invitational. It's $4. You get that Billy Bounce Back Courier. You can sort of see him here. I bet I can pull it up right here. Look, there he is. So you get this guy. He's pretty cool. Moon has him, and he's fantastic. And support the league as well. We'll be back also next season. I just finished all the sign-up code, so that should be going up in the next week or two, and you guys can register your teams or re-register your teams for the Season 4, and more announcements will be coming soon on that in terms of what the divisions are going to be structured like. I think we're going to have more than just the open and the invite. Have 3 or 4 levels, hopefully. And we'll have some plans as well, so if you guys weren't in one of the divisions or this season on Season 3, you guys will be able to play in a little short weekend tournament, and we'll give the winner and runner-up spots in the top and second to top divisions. So keep an eye out for that if you guys are interested. All the info will be at amateurdota2league.com. And thank you guys, Moon and Frog, so much for joining us tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the patch and enjoyed playing it some.